Welcome to the Safety and Etiquette section of orientation for the Marvell Nanofabrication Laboratory, or NanoLab. In this talk, we will learn specifics on how to be a safe lab member, a lab member who is conscientious and considerate of those around them, and how these two aspects are often related. This talk is broken up into 5 sections spread out over 2 videos. We hope to provide you with all the safety and etiquette information you may need, but please know that staff is always here for any questions or concerns. This talk is based on the information that can be found in the NanoLab's Chemical Hygiene Plan, or CHP. To find this document, go to the NanoLab's home page. Towards the top, click on the link for Equipment Manual. You will find the CHP document in the first entry, Section 1.1. Please read through this document to review what you learned from the orientation talks. Once you finish all the orientation videos, you will almost be ready to become a NanoLab member. One important step that you will still need to do is to take and pass the lab's safety test, also known as the CHP test. The orientation presentations should review all necessary material, but please review the CHP document before you take the test. Additionally, once a year you will need to take the safety quiz to renew your membership. The quiz is about half the length of the test and includes material that we consider the most essential, as well as any changes that have occurred in the past year. This ensures that all members are up to date on safety features of the lab. You will receive an automatic email reminder when the safety quiz is due. The NanoLab's most important rule is the buddy rule. This states that you may never work alone in the lab. You must always have a buddy there with you. Accidents can happen, and there are always hazards present in the lab setting, so there must be another member in the lab to assist you if something goes wrong. You have a responsibility to maintain at least 2 people in the lab at all times. When you enter, always sign into Mercury and respect any computer automated messages regarding the number of people in the lab. If you are the only one, you may not enter past the gowning room. When you leave, keep an eye on the monitors posted throughout the lab to see if there are only a few people left inside. If so, give them the heads up that you're leaving and how many people are left so that they can plan their work accordingly. If you are the third or second to last person to leave, you must find the last person and let them know, and then wait for them to wrap up their work. You may be in the gowning room and logged into the buddy terminal if you are waiting for someone to complete their work. The landline telephones are an integral part of the NanoLab. Cell phone reception can be spotty in the lab. Lab phones are frequently used for dialing the main office or staff phones, as well as using the paging system to reach a staff or lab member. If you have an emergency, it is highly preferable to call from a landline over a cell phone. From a landline, you can call the standard emergency phone number, 911, to reach an emergency responder. If you call from your cell phone, it is preferable to use the campus police phone number, which is 510-642-3333. If you call 911 from a cell phone in Berkeley, it will route through the California Highway Patrol and will take longer for them to pinpoint your location. Posted at every phone are lists of staff phone numbers as well as an emergency response quick guide. If you have an emergency, please follow up your 911 call with a call to staff as soon as you are able to do so safely. We have 2 sets of emergency alarms in the NanoLab. We associate the color red with a fire alarm, and we associate the color blue with a hazardous material or hazmat alarm. We will discuss these in more detail on the following slides. The color red is associated with a fire or fire alarm. In the event of a triggered or pulled fire alarm, 2 alarms will occur: visible white strobe lights and an audible alarm. 911 is automatically called, and both the Berkeley Fire Department as well as the UC Police Department are notified. Members should also pull the hazmat alarm, as we want to ensure hazardous materials are sealed at the source in case of a fire. Members must immediately evacuate the building using a blue emergency exit door. Please note that the whole building will be evacuated. If you are in the gowning room, please do not exit out the main gowning room doors, as these are not emergency exit doors. Instead, proceed quickly to the nearest emergency exit inside the lab itself. In the event of a fire, your responsibility is to notify, evaluate, and evacuate. Notify everyone around you that they need to evacuate the building immediately and quickly evaluate if there is anything you can do to help mitigate the fire severity. One example is turning off a hot plate with a flammable solvent. There are fire extinguishers throughout the lab. If you have received fire extinguisher training and feel safe using one, you may do so. Note that fire extinguishers are clean room approved in the event of an emergency. If you can safely extinguish a fire, that is more important than any residues or particles it may leave behind. Evacuate the building and allow the firefighters to do their job. If your clothes have caught fire, there are safety showers throughout the lab that you can use to extinguish the flames. In the past, one source of problems concerning fire safety was with hot plates. You may only use digitally controlled hot plates in the lab, and all solvents must be heated within a water bath and not directly on the hot plate. As mentioned, we associate the color blue with a hazardous material or hazmat issue. If the hazmat alarm is triggered, flashing lights and an audible alarm are again activated. In this case, the flashing lights are blue. If you suspect a toxic or corrosive gas leak or a condition that requires lab evacuation, please manually activate the alarm. Blue hazmat pull stations are located at every emergency exit and several locations throughout the lab. When the alarm is triggered, hazardous gases are sealed at the source, and you must evacuate the lab. At each lab entrance is a firefighter-restricted break glass emergency ventilation pull station. This turns off air recirculation and puts the lab in a state of maximum exhaust. Lab members are never allowed to activate this pull station. In the event of a hazardous material leak, it is not necessary to pull the red fire alarm. The hazardous material alarm does not call emergency responders. Instead, it calls a 24-hour alarm company who then calls to notify staff. As with a fire alarm, your job is to notify, evaluate, and evacuate. There are many cylinder gases located in the nanolab that are used to run processes throughout the lab. The ones with toxic and corrosive materials are kept behind the locked doors of rooms 399 and 599 and are monitored by the hazmat system. All cylinders in the nanolab are only handled by staff who have received special training. There are 5 emergency exit doors in the nanolab. Emergency exit doors are all blue. The main nanolab entrance doors to the gowning room, which are in Bay 580, are not emergency exit doors, so do not use them in an evacuation. As shown in this map, the emergency exit doors are accessed from bays 386, 391, 393, 586, and 591. If you are in the gowning room, the closest emergency exit is in 591. Please proceed there immediately and do not worry about putting on your clean room suit in this case. It is important to know how to evacuate efficiently and safely in the event of an emergency. In the event of an evacuation, first secure your process. This means to take a brief amount of time to enhance the safety around you, such as capping a chemical bottle or turning off a hot plate with a flammable solvent on it. Do not rush through your process. Please note that you do not have to hit the emergency EMO or EPO buttons, as automated processes and equipment do not need to be stopped. Then, proceed to a blue emergency exit door and notify others around you to follow. Exit the building, taking a phone list with you if it's after hours. Once you are safely at the assembly area, please remove and throw away your gowning supplies. Do not do this while exiting so you don't cause a backup behind you. Please remain at the assembly area until you have passed on any important information regarding the events that led to the evacuation to the emergency responders or NanoLab staff. There are different emergency assembly areas for the NanoLab and for the rest of Sutarja Dai Hall. The assembly area for the lab is to the east of Sutarja Dai Hall, located approximately at the bus stop between Sutarja Dai and Corey Hall on Hearst Avenue. If you are in the building but not in the lab, proceed to the building assembly area instead, which is located west of the cafe. Please remain at the assembly area until you have passed on any relevant information to staff or emergency responders. We know that we've given you a lot of information on the previous slides, and it can be hard to remember it all. This slide serves as a brief review and overview of information pertinent to lab emergencies, medical issues, and facilities problems. In the event of a fire, pull the red fire alarm pull station, followed by the blue pull station. Evacuate the lab and notify others around you to do the same. In the event of a hazardous material situation, pull the blue hazmat pull station and notify and evacuate the lab. In the event of a medical emergency, call 911 from a landline and visit either the Tang Center on Bancroft or Alta Bates Hospital on Ashby Avenue. If there is a flood or utility problem within the NanoLab, please notify staff, and if you are able to, turn off the leak from the source. If there is a facilities issue in the building but not the lab itself, please contact the campus facilities hotline as well as the building manager. In part 2 of this presentation, we will discuss our role as lab members to keep the NanoLab as clean as possible in all aspects, from our gowning to tabletop spaces and even tweezers. It is essential that all lab members have proper cleanroom attire before entering the lab. Prior to entering the gowning room, please put on shoe covers. Once inside the gowning room, put on a bouffant cap, safety goggles, coveralls, boot covers, and nitrile gloves. Prescription glasses are not an acceptable alternative to safety glasses or goggles. They must comply with OSHA safety standards. Prescription safety glasses are available through the UC Optometry Department. Contact lenses are allowed but discouraged as they can trap chemicals next to your eyes. Open-toed shoes, high heels, and bare feet are not allowed. Please change your gowning attire at least once a week or any time it rips or smells. Make sure to get a new name tag each time you change your coveralls. The NanoLab operates as a Class 100 clean room. Though much of the cleanliness is achieved through the facilities systems we have in place, we all need to be cognizant of our role in keeping the lab as clean as possible. Stray hairs and flakes of skin are sources of particle contamination. In addition, our bodies contain potassium and sodium, which are highly mobile ions that can contaminate a device. Similarly, gold and other metals found in jewelry are also highly mobile ions. Ordinary paper and pencils are not cleanroom approved. Please use cleanroom paper or pens. In the NanoLab, we use a solution called NovaClean to clean items that we bring in from the outside, such as cell phones or laptops. It is important to note that the nitrile gloves that we use in the lab still have particles on them, so wafers should not be handled directly with gloved hands. Use vacuum wands or tweezers at all times when handling your samples. Additionally, tweezers should be cleaned prior to use, generally with acetone and isopropyl alcohol. The NanoLab has glove stations throughout the lab. Please change your gloves frequently, especially after touching your phone or immediately after you get any chemicals on them. Finally, we have polyethylene or poly gloves in key places throughout the lab where contamination is a particular concern. These gloves have nearly zero particles on them, though they are slippery and difficult to use in certain situations that involve dexterity. Here are a few more lab rules and procedures to familiarize yourself with. They will be important to know once you begin work in the lab. Visitors are only allowed during regular business hours and must be approved prior to visiting. Never move someone else's sample without permission. If you feel there is a justifiable need to move a sample, consult with staff first. When inside the lab, you must walk, do not run. Food, drinks, and headphones are not allowed in the lab. When you exit the lab, remove your gloves and wash your hands.